Coming up, voters are still waiting for final results in key races that will determine the makeup of Congress. Here in New York, incumbents have held on to offices across the state, and Russian forces have ordered to withdraw from Kherson region in Ukraine. Plus, a look at your Plattsburgh weather, entertainment, and sports. Tonight on PS News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jody Juliana Powell.
And I'm Benny Nazai. Our top story tonight, the 2022 midterm elections. The makeup of the House and Senate remain uncertain tonight as ballots are still being counted in several key races. But one thing is clear, this election was not the red wave that many Republicans hoped for. While the GOP is still likely to gain control of the House of Representatives, the balance of power in the Senate comes down to just 3 states, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia. With about 2/3 of votes counted, Arizona's Democratic Senator Mark Kelly holds the lead over Republican challenger Blake Masters, but that race is still too close to call. In Nevada, a similar story with 3/4 of results in, Republican Adam Laxalt is ahead of Democratic incumbent Catherine Cortez Masto by less than 15,000 votes. Georgia, meanwhile, will hold a runoff election in December as neither major party Senate candidate cleared the 50% mark. That runoff in Georgia between Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker is set for Tuesday, December 6th.
In a rare live press conference Wednesday, President Joe Biden called the midterms, quote, a good day for democracy. As Democrats held off a predicted Republican red wave, the president said that outcome is a sign that U.S. democracy is intact. Although the outcome is still unknown, Biden indicated a willingness to work with Republicans, should they take control of the House.
All the results yet, at least I don't know them all yet. Here's what we do know. While the press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave, it didn't happen. And I know you were somewhat miffed by my obsessive optimism, but I felt good during the whole process.
When asked about whether the results will persuade him to run for re-election, Biden said he will discuss it with his family over the holidays. Meanwhile, members of his campaign team have begun early preparations that are necessary ahead of a final decision.
To Pennsylvania, as Democrat John Fetterman has won the Pennsylvania Senate race, defeating Trump-backed Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. Oz, a retired heart surgeon turned talk show host, called Fetterman earlier to concede the race. Fetterman will succeed retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey, flipping a seat in favor of Democrats. It's a critical win as Democrats seek to maintain control of the Senate. Fetterman, Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor since 2019, stayed in the race despite suffering a stroke in May. His victory came despite having to scale back campaigning while he recovered from the stroke. And that stroke often limited Fetterman's ability to speak, and some feared his less than optimal performance in his debate with Dr. Oz would hurt his chances.
Here in New York, Governor Kathy Hochul is now the first woman to be elected to office. Hochul became governor last August, elevated to the office from lieutenant governor after Andrew Cuomo resigned. She faced Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin from Long Island in the contest for her full term. The race had tightened considerably in recent weeks in a state that last elected a Republican governor 20 years ago, in 2002. With about 95% of ballots counted, 52.8% of New Yorkers voted for Hochul, compared to 47.2% for Zeldin. New Yorkers also returned Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to the Senate, defeating Republican challenger Joe Pinoir, 56% to 43%. In the House, Republican Representative Elise Stefanik had a decisive victory over Democratic challenger Matt Castelli for her 5th term in the House.
Switching gears to international headlines, as the Russian defense minister has ordered a withdrawal of Russian forces in the Ukrainian region of Kherson. The order for Russian troops to be withdrawn to the east bank of the Dnipro River came at a meeting in Moscow between Defense Minister Shoigu and the commander of Russian forces in Ukraine, General Sergei Surovikin. Defending occupied territory on the west bank of Kherson has become increasingly difficult for the Russians as Ukrainian forces disabled bridges across the river and attacked Russian supply lines. More recently, the Ukrainian army has made advances along two fronts towards Kherson city. In response, Russian forces have begun fortifying positions on the opposite bank of the river. Kherson was one of 4 Ukrainian regions annexed by Russia in September. Once the withdrawal is complete, several thousand square kilometers of that annexed territory will have been surrendered. Now coming up, as the Fed continues to try to rein in inflation, credit card rates are still at a record high. Stay with us, folks.
TG in one word to me means integrity.
It's responsibility.
It's trust.
Solidarity.
Synergy.
Home. These guys are my home.
Theta Gamma is welcoming.
In one word, TG means to me family.
I'm Vincent Perno, president of Theta Gamma. Here at Theta Gamma, we emphasize the importance of scholarship, leadership, and service. We strive to make ourselves better people as well as our community a better place.
The Federal Reserve's war on inflation has driven up credit card rates to the highest level on record. According to Bankrate, the average credit card annual percentage rate climbed from 19.04% as of November 9th. That's the highest since the service's database began in 1985. It beats the prior record of 19% set in July 1991. The national average APR for credit cards has climbed by 2.74% points so far this year. That's the biggest increase in a single year on record.
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich will testify in front of the special grand jury probing the 2020 presidential election and the alleged attempt to overturn Georgia for then-President Donald Trump. In a Wednesday ruling, a judge in Virginia, where Gingrich currently resides, ordered him to appear. Gingrich's appearance in front of the Atlanta-based special grand jury is scheduled for November 29th. However, a lawyer for Gingrich says an appeal is likely. Prosecutors say they want to question Gingrich about what role he may have played in Trump's campaign following the election, including a plan to send fake electorate certificates to the National Archives. One of Gingrich's attorneys, Randy Evans, has also been subpoenaed in regards to this matter. Evans says he plans to testify next week.
A new warning about climate change. A government report released Monday said that the United States will face far-reaching and worsening events unless people move to faster slow the planet's global warming. The National Climate Assessment warns the economic and human toll will continue to rise. The government tracked 20 climate-related disasters last year and said that the storms killed nearly 700 people and cost the country about $145 billion. The report also found the United States is one of the world's worst offenders in contributing to the climate crisis. The study says that the U.S. has warmed 68% faster than the planet as a whole over the past 50 years. Temperatures are 2.5 degrees warmer in the U.S. than in other places around the globe. The report's release comes as world leaders gather in Egypt this week for a UN climate summit. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your Plattsburgh weather and entertainment news. Stay with us.
What am I looking at here?
It's a spaceship.
From where?
From space.
All right, people, let's hit these guys with some PSTV. Did not work.
Probably because it's a TV station and not a laser.
This is KINKS, which stands for Collectively Inspiring Natural Hair Students. We like to promote people to embrace their natural hair and just love who they are. Every spring semester we have a hair show, so if you're interested in modeling, hairstylist, and a makeup artist, this is something to look forward to every spring.
Welcome back. I'm Zeb Ducharme, and here's a look at your chilly Plattsburgh weather. Now, as we've seen from today's highs, a shocking drop in temperature from east of the Champlain Lake all the way west to Owl's Head, high 40s, at best 51 down in Vermontville. An unexpected change, but who would have saw it coming? Moving on to your 5-day forecast, we will see that temperatures will start to rise a little bit as we move into Thursday, actually rise by a fair amount. Skies start to cloud up, mostly sunny with a high of 63. As we move closer to the weekend, however, things become just a little bit worse. Clouds start covering the sky even more as precipitation starts to build, following through the weekend, you can never remember that word, going into Sunday with temperatures dropping from a 63 in Friday all the way over to a 44 in Sunday, with Monday starting to turn below 40 degrees. So about time to start pulling out the parkas and the winter boots. That's all for your weather. I'm Zeb Ducharme. Now back to Benny and Jody Juliana at the desk.
Winter is coming. Thanks, Zeb. Well, a winning ticket for the record $2.4 billion Powerball lottery jackpot was sold in the Los Angeles area. It was sold at Joe's Service Center in Altadena, California. It makes the lucky ticket holder the winner of the world's largest lottery prize ever. The winning numbers were announced Tuesday morning after Monday night's drawings was delayed because of an issue with the Minnesota lottery. The jackpot was already a record $1.9 billion Monday, but grew to more than $2 billion by the time of Tuesday morning's drawing. The $2.4 billion prize has a cash value of $997.6 million. The owner of the gas station, Joe Shuhayed, was awarded a $1 million prize for selling the winning ticket. However, the jackpot winner has yet to come forward.
Italy is hailing an exceptional discovery. Archaeologists have uncovered more than 24 beautifully preserved bronze statues dating back to ancient Roman times. The statues were discovered in thermal baths in San Casciano dei Bagni, a hilltop town in Tuscany. Archaeologists have been exploring the muddy ruins of an ancient bathhouse in the area since 2019. A researcher coordinating the dig says that the statues used to adorn a sanctuary before they were immersed in thermal waters, in a sort of ritual, probably around the 21st century AD. A top culture ministry official is calling it one of the most remarkable discoveries in the history of ancient Mediterranean. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of entertainment news. Here's Arshita.
Thanks, Jody. Publisher Condé Nast is suing Drake and 21 Savage for using a fake cover story to promote their new album, Her Loss. The singers claim that the story would appear in Vogue magazine. Drake posted the fake cover story on social media and even thanked one of Vogue's editors for her support. The publisher's lawyer filed a complaint in federal court on Monday and said that the stunt was, quote, a flagrant infringement of the company's trademark. The fake cover story was one of several efforts that the singers made to promote the album. They said that they would appear on The Howard Stern Show and on NPR. Both appearances did not happen. So far, no comment on the lawsuit from either Drake or 21 Savage. It is a good album, though. Sean Penn showed his support for Ukraine in a symbolic move. The actor and filmmaker handed his Oscar to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who posted video of the moment Tuesday. Zelensky said that Penn brought the Oscar as a show of faith in Ukraine and its war against Russia's unprovoked invasion. Penn is heard telling Zelensky that the Oscar can be returned to Malibu, quote, when you win. Zelensky returned the favor to Penn by presenting him with his country's Order of Merit of the Third Degree. Penn was in Ukraine earlier just this year, working on a documentary about the ongoing conflict in the country when the Russian invasion forced him to flee. Moving on to the topic of movies, the trailer for the new Brendan Fraser movie, The Whale, premiered on Tuesday, in which the actor plays a reclusive, obese teacher trying to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter. It's something of a comeback for Fraser. He enjoyed action star status in the early 2000s for his lead role in the Mummy franchise. Fraser's film credits have thinned in recent years, but he did get a prolonged standing ovation for his performance in The Whale at the Venice Film Festival just this September. Video shared on social media of the 6-minute ovation showed the actor looking teary-eyed as the audience applauded. And according to Variety magazine, he donned a prosthetic suit for the movie, which is a performance that's already being touted as Oscar-worthy. The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky, hits theaters on December 9th, so mark your calendars. Now, Elon Musk is selling more of his Tesla stock. The Securities and Exchange Commission reports that Musk has sold nearly $4 billion worth of Tesla stock since he bought Twitter. He bought the social media company on October 27th, and the SEC reported Tuesday night that he waited until November 4th to start selling even more of his Tesla shares. Musk sold blocks of Tesla shares totaling more than $15 billion earlier this year. But it is unclear if the money that Musk has raised went toward buying Twitter or to support losses at the company. Musk recently revealed that Twitter is hemorrhaging money since his takeover because a growing number of companies have stopped advertising on the platform. That's all from entertainment from me, folks. I'm Ashita Pandey, and when we come back, we'll have Jar Seals with your PS Sports update.
The sport of jiu-jitsu is mainly for, you can use it for self-defense. That's the number one reason it appeals to people. There's other people who come to this club for the competition aspect, and also a lot of others who do it for the workout aspect. It has multiple ways of appealing to different audiences, and you should come give it a try. You might like it.
Welcome back with your PS Sports update. I'm Josh Sills. Actor Ryan Reynolds is trying to add another title to his name, hockey team owner. During an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Reynolds said he was trying to buy the Ottawa Senators of the National Hockey League. But he says, quote, "It's very expensive, so I need a partner with really deep pockets." On Friday, the franchise said a process has been started to sell the team. Reynolds was born in Vancouver, but spent time in Ottawa. He is currently co-owner of Wrexham AFC, a Welsh football club in England's 5th tier. Tom Brady continues to make history during his storied 23-year career. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback became the first player in National Football League history with 100,000 career passing yards combined in regular season and playoffs during Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. With a Tampa Bay down 13-6 in the fourth quarter, Brady completed a pass to running back Leonard Fournette for a gain of 15 yards to put him over the mark. Nike has suspended its relationship with Brooklyn Nets point guard Kyrie Irving. The company said it would no longer be launching his newest sneaker. This comes after Irving sent a tweet linking to a documentary that has been criticized as anti-Semitic and then defended his decision to do so. The Brooklyn Nets have also suspended Irvin for at least 5 games without pay. Hours after the announcement, he posted an apology on social media. This has been your PS Sports Update. I'm Josh Seals. Now back to the desk with Benny and Jody Juliana.
Well, thanks, Ja. I know earlier, Jody, we were talking about, Drake and 21 Savage in their lawsuit over their new album, but I gotta say, her loss is pretty fire.
I've been listening to it. It's on repeat. More M's is my favorite.
Oh, that's such a good song. And Moments in Silence, banger.
Yeah.
Drake never disappoints. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
To stay up to date with PS News and all of Plattsburgh State TV, be sure to follow Plattsburgh State TV on all social media platforms. I'm Jody Juliana Powell.
And I'm Benny Nazai. As always, thank you for joining us and have a great night, Plattsburgh.